Listen, we all started from the beginning. Even someone like myself used to have terrible movement and shoot circles. But after putting endless hours in perfecting my craft, I finally mastered aim and movement, which is the two key components when it comes to winning gunfights. And that's what today's video is going to be about. It's going to be a guide slash tip to help you guys improve and really teach you everything you need to know. I'm sure the goal is to have you guys shooting like Biffle and have movement like Joe Woe. So strap in, grab some popcorn, get the notepad. Let's get right into it. So we can all agree hitting your shots and making sure they land on your opponent is extremely important when it comes to winning a gunfight, right? Obviously, we're going to be breaking down a lot of things when it comes to aim, but the first thing we're going to be tackling is your sensitivity slash settings. And this is actually very important whether you believe it or not. These are my dead zones here. You can put your right stick dead zone a little bit lower to like 0.9. You're going to notice a pretty good change when it comes to controlling recoil, but then with these weirdly fast gunfights are going to be a little bit of a struggle. So if you feel like your aim is really that bad, you can lower this to 0.9 and over time slowly increase it so you can be better, a little more skillful. For my sense, I got 7.7 and I play on 0.85. Something I really recommend is usually your ADS sense, you want to have it on a 6. 0.85 times 7, I'm pretty sure it's about 5.94 or something like that. Very close to 6 ADS sense. I like to say 5.5 to 6 is usually where your ADS sense you want to have it. You don't want to have it too slow, but you also don't want to have it too fast. Now, this is a very consistent sense. I usually recommend between 6 to 8. I usually don't want you to go higher than that. If you want to have a really good aim and making sure you're hitting a lot of your shots, usually between 5 to 6 ADS cents and making sure you're playing 6 to 8 cents. So like, for example, if I go to 8.8, then usually I could play on 0.75, which is 6 ADS, or I can even go down to like 0.7. But usually you don't want to go lower than that because now you're going to struggle versus really up close and fast, cracked out gameplay. And also make sure your aim response curve type is dynamic. That's also going to help a little bit with aim assist. Another thing, if you are playing on PC, I like scale aim assist with FOV disabled. I think this gives you a better aim assist pull, which is really nice, and it's definitely beneficial. Now, for the people with the very fast sensitivity, there's a reason why you want to lower it down, and it's for centering, and it's just and overall as well to have more consistent shots with your ADS and centering. And centering is going to be the next thing we're going to be talking about. So centering is one of the most important things that makes a good player have really good aim. And centering is basically when you're maneuvering around the map, you're running around in the center, and also centering on potential opponents or anticipating an enemy being nearby. So let's say, for example, I'm going to lose something, go back up to the center. You're constantly centering on areas. You're constantly ready for a gunfight. And I know it takes a lot of practice, but it's going to be something extremely important. You lose something in the ground, back to centering. You have to be very, very on top of this. I'm going to center up. I heard him down. Now I'm going to center down. You're constantly centering on where your opponents might be. Loadout got popped. I'm going to center by the loadout. Now, this takes a lot of muscle memory and a lot of practice, but with the practice and with the reps, you can definitely get this down. Another example, I'm going to go up the stairs. I'm going to center back up. You see, I'm not going to run like this. Instead, I'm going to run looking up. And this centering is going to save you time. It's going to save you, making adjustments mid-fight because you're already going to be aimed at your opponent. You did the hard part. Now all you have to do is aim in and hit the shots, which can be actually somewhat, fairly easy. Because the minuscule, the small adjustments are the easy part. But like first, landing on your opponent, having the crosshair, you can see the centering. I turn around, look up, centered, ready. I'm ready. These guys can't catch me really slipping because I am ready for these gunfights. Center in the middle, and I'm constantly centering. This is something the best players in the world do. This is something Biffle does really well. Centered at all times. I'm ready for the fight. Bro was right. And if you're wondering, Apathy, how do I practice this? Well, you can do this in a custom game. You can do this in a bot lobby. You can do this in pubs. And by bots, I mean just plain bots. The main thing is important is you have to be mindful of this while you're playing. You have to be on top of it. It's not going to be normal to you, especially if you're not good at centering or if it's not something you're used to. But as you play, you just got to remember center, 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 center. Constantly centering. Just keep thinking in your head, center, center, center. You see that slide cancel around here? Center. Slide cancel around here? Center. You don't see me slide canceling centering here. You see, I would have been ready for that. Instead, I wasn't. Yeah, that gun does suck. And this is a very key part. And this is why I tell you lower sense is important, guys. Because the higher the sense, imagine me trying to center if my stick is just super fast, like whipping around. Centering becomes a little bit harder, becomes a little less consistent. And that's why playing on a lower sense is going to help you with the centering. It's going to allow you to snap harder. It's going to allow you to do things like that. Now for the next aim tip we're going to be talking about is recoil control. You see some of the best players in the world shoot, including myself, and we shoot very straight. And there's a reason for this. One, you got to understand how the recoil of the gun goes. So obviously vertical recoil is one of the biggest factor. Now controlling vertical recoil can be very simple with simply just holding down. And you can shoot from that. If you really work hard on it, you can go from that to that. You can even go if you really just take your time, you know, a little bit better. And that's simply just holding down, holding your right stick down. It's very simple. If you had a stick or even a mouse and keyboard, you just hold it slightly down as you're shooting. And I don't know if you guys can see, and you're gonna allow you to, you know, hold it lower. Now that is a very big factor when it comes to that. But now the problem arises, what if my gun shoots like this and it has more horizontal? Well, there's a way to control this recoil as well. Not only are you going to be holding down, but you're also going to be holding the left. You're basically going to be counteracting the recoil. So the recoil goes up to the right, you're going to hold down to the left. Now, these adjustments you have to understand aren't hard. You don't want to like hard hold left down. You want to slightly hold it. And sometimes it takes a little practice. If you're holding it too slightly, then you got to hold it more. And if you can get that to understand that, you're going to shoot very straight. And if you said, hey app, what are some examples of practicing this recoil control? Well, first of all, it's understanding the recoil patterns because every gun is slightly different. And two, find something small to shoot at. You know, whether it's this thing, whether it's this thing, whether it's this thing, and practice just shooting at that simply. So you cannot shoot over it, under it, just practice shooting it. And you can practice this for a while, right? Go in a private lobby, you know, shoot at something small at a certain distance. And your goal is to just hit those things. You definitely get it down. So something us really good players do as well when it comes to aiming, which is the next tip, is that we use both sticks. Now, as simple as it sounds and how, you know, potentially easy, not every player uses both sticks. And what I mean by using both sticks, when we shoot and when I shoot, we strafe while we shoot, left and right. It could be a small strafe, it could be a big strafe, but we never just simply sit still and shoot our gun. We're constantly moving. And this is good for two reasons. One, when you strafe, you're going to have your shot slowly pull more auto aim, and your guy's going to pull up more auto aim when you're shooting at someone. So this helps for that reason. And two, not only is that going to help, but when you're strafing, it makes it also easier to just make small adjustments mid gunfight. You're not trying to simply control your right stick only. You're using your left stick to strafe into the guy while controlling your right stick, and then at the end, all you have to do are these minor adjustments, these small, you know, little micro adjustments that's gonna allow your shot to be better and more consistent. And you can't even tell right there as I'm shooting, I'm moving my strafing stick, and I'm strafing very slow, but I'm strafing. I'm strafing at a very slow rate, but I'm strafing. And I do that every gunfight. I want you guys to practice that. Every gunfight, almost every gunfight, unless you're on a head glitch. The only exception usually is if you're in a head glitch, but even on a head glitch, I strafe. I want that extra aim assist. I also want to make it easier for me to hit my shots if I'm strafing. Strafe. Strafe. It's key. Not only is all that good, guys, it's gonna be harder for him to hit you when you're strafing. Now, obviously, some guns have faster strafe than others. But just think about that. Not only is strafing really good for all those reasons when it comes to your aim, but now you're also a harder target to hit. So strafing is a key component when it comes to having better aim. You see, I'm strafing. I didn't even have to move my aim there. I pointed him, strafed, and just kept shooting. Not once did I move my right stick, pretty much. And that's the crazy part about strafing and how good it can be. There's a right time for every movement, and that's exactly what I'm going to be breaking down now. And we're going to start off with a jump shot, something that's been in COD for a long time, and it's still really good to do and use. One of the biggest times you want a jump shot is around a corner and kind of get that camera slash peekers advantage on your opponent, which you see me do here. You see he shoots me, I jump back and I challenge him, and I try to aim in midair, and I catch him off guard and get the kill. This takes a little bit of practice, takes a little bit of skill, but if you can really master that jump shot re-peek or even jump shot peek out, it's really good. A good time to do this is simply when you jump around a corner. You want to make sure you start pre-aiming. So essentially you're aiming in mid-air. That way, by the time you jump around the corner and you're on your opponent, you get to shoot immediately. Here is another example of me using this technique. I know an enemy is nearby, so I'm going to fly out and jump and pre-aim mid-air, hit a nice little bunny hop for the cherry on top, and secure the kill very easily. It's very hard for them to keep up and allows me to easily hit my shots and get the kill. So that is the main time you want to utilize the jump shot. But app, when are the other times? Another good time to do it is if you're in a straight up 1v1 gunfight, especially in a close quarter combat. You can jump shot to help you hit your shots and maybe let them miss. Right here, I do a fadeaway shot as he slides in, and you can see it kind of saved me. It made it harder for him to hit me, and I was able to finish him off with my shots. That is kind of the best time and probably the only other time you really want to jump shot. And now we move on to the next thing, which is the drop shot. App, when do I drop shot? Now, drop shot's been as well in COD for a very long time, but you don't really use it often. And you can see some of the best players in the world don't really drop shot as much. And there's other good movement, right? There's other stuff you can do, but when should you drop shot? There's two key times to drop shot. One is to catch your opponent off guard, because either they hit you first, they shot you first, they saw you first, and you need that drop shot to catch them off guard so you can get the kill and secure the kill. If not, you're probably dead. Or two, they call you off guard, and you basically, it goes hand in hand. They call you off guard, you know, they start shooting in the butt. It's like, holy schmoly, 360 drop shot. It's the only chance I have. So here's a good example of me getting 2 kills with the drop shot. You can see I only have 1 plate pretty much. This guy's gonna catch me kind of off guard. He's like, what? He's in here. I'm gonna drop shot just to guarantee the kill. But this is where things get fishy. I only have 1 plate again. I have a sweat, you know, come by, and I'm gonna shoot him first here, right? And now I'm gonna lay down, so when he jumps around the corner, he's not gonna expect me to be standing up. I'm not gonna be, you know, in front of his face. I'm gonna make myself a harder target by laying down. And you can see, even though I only had 1 plate, even though I had a KG up close, I was still able to secure the kill versus him. So that's the best time to drop shot. And you can study some of the best players in the world, Warzone pros, and they're going to be doing the same thing, because drop shot can be really effective to catch your opponent off guard. You can even do a nice little crouch shot, which is very similar to catch your opponent off guard. And that is going to help you get some crazy kills. It's going to, just imagine this. Imagine you're standing up, your character standing up for 1 second. Next thing, you're flat on the floor. It's obviously going to make you a harder target. Your opponents are going to start missing their shots, and it's going to allow you to maybe turn on someone, world star someone. So remember, if you're in danger, hit the panic button, drop shot. Now for the next thing we're going to be talking about is slide canceling, which is going to be your main way of engaging into gunfights. Now, why is slide canceling so good? I mean, there's many reasons. First of all, it resets your tac sprint. What that allows you to do is not only sprint around the map faster, you're able to always tactical sprint, which is the fastest form of movement speed. So that's going to allow you to, you know, camera people, run away quickly. As you can see, I'm dodging bullets here, reach out faster. You're just going to have that tac sprint in the back of your pocket at all times. 2, it makes you a harder target, right? So if you're slide canceling around continuously, if someone shoots at you, again, you have the tac sprint ready. You're maneuvering really quickly, and you can easily, you know, either re-engage, disengage, run away, reach out. It allows you to have all these other options. So slide canceling is really good for offense and defense. But how do you engage with your slide cancels? Well, you can see here, I'm slide canceling into the fight. And even when I get very close to my opponent, once I'm like on them, I usually just don't move. I let them move because usually they're going to move, and then I just aim in and shoot. The problem is, and some mistakes you guys do, is that you slide cancel and you chase people, but sometimes you overdo it versus just sitting there, aim in, which is quicker than sprint to aim in. If I'm standing still and I aim in, it's not a lot faster, but it is faster than just regularly sprint to fire time. So you can see here, I'm twisted, I'm slide canceling everywhere. My movement is on point. And a good thing to do is you want to slide cancel into the fight a lot of times. You can see here, I'm slide canceling, then aim in, slide canceling, then aim in. And that little movement, one, it's going to catch your opponent off guard. It's going to make them hard. It's going to make you a harder target, right? If you're maneuvering, if you're hitting those movements and those cameras, like, it's going to be hard for your opponent to snap on you. And second of all, it's going to allow you to hit that movement and give you that second or two to re-snap on your opponent and hit your shots, and then basically dead. So when you're maneuvering around the map, you want to continuously slide cancel to really reset that attack sprint. So that's an obvious, but when is the best time to overall slide cancel? Well, the thing I can tell you right now is you want to slide cancel around almost every corner. And when you're challenging your opponent, you want to slide on them, slide cancel on them, and essentially camera them. So if I know opponent is around a corner, if I know I have an enemy around a corner, I'm gonna slide cancel around a corner. And you got to time it out where you slide kind of close to the wall. You don't want a wide slide, because by the time you aim in, your opponent's already going to be basically shooting at you. So you really want to cut this corner tightly, and then you want to slide cancel it, and then obviously camera your opponent and hit your shots. And most of the time you should be able to secure the kill. But you have to be very careful, because even though slide canceling is really good, sometimes other form of movement like jump shotting can be more beneficial, or even just, you know, sprint to fire time. Here's a perfect example of me getting a kill by sliding into the fight and then getting one shot and getting chased down because I'm one shot, and continuously resetting my tac sprint so I can run away. So right here, I'm going to get lit up in the back. I'm going to get one shot. He's chasing me hard here. I'm constantly slide canceling. Even as I'm plating, I'm slide canceling. It's resetting my tac sprint. Therefore, I can run away quickly, right? I can run away faster. And here I'm going to engage with the slide cancel. You're going to see me see him, and then as I'm tac sprinting, I'm going to slide cancel to the right and get the kill so easily. And this is why this thing can be so good to engage. And I feel like once you get very advanced, you understand movement, sometimes it's all about countering their movement, which right here, you're going to see me, he's going to come out of nowhere, and I'm going to switch him back to my MP5 because I had my sniper out for a second, and I'm going to hit wide on the slide cancel. And now for the last tip, we have snaking. What is snaking? It's simply going up and down behind the cover very quickly, whether that's laying down like this, laying down back and forward like this, or crouching back and forward, back and down, up and down, up and down. Snaking is very beneficial. It can save your life, and it can really change the game for you. Now, understanding when to snake is obviously important, and that's why I'm here. So when should you snake? Well, if you ever, let's say very weak and you need cover, but you're afraid your opponent's going to push you, well, you plate up and you constantly peek as you're plating. You can do this behind little ACs. You can do this almost anywhere that has cover. Usually it requires you to lay down, so I can like plate up like this as I'm plating up. Apply all. Just snaking around. And if I feel like I'm threatened, he's going to push me, I unplate and challenge. So that is how you use snaking defensively. So for example, I'm weak. I'm gonna snake this. Plate up again. And now I'm going to snake offensively. He jumped in because he's scared. So when do you snake offensively? Well, you can hit shots on your opponent while going up and down and peeking. And just like this is a perfect example right here. I just feel like I'm never really the one to lose a gunfight here unless I really miss, you know, and that's on me. But if you snake it correctly, you can easily get these kills. Another example is right here. I'm being held in the gas. It's a 1v1 situation. I'm gonna luckily get behind this little rock here, and you're gonna see me plate up defensively. I'm not gonna peek at all because he has an angle on me, but I'm just plating up, and now I'm gonna start snaking him. And I'm just gonna peek up and down, shoot, peek up and down, shoot, peek up and down, shoot. And you can see how OP this thing is. All right, guys, I hope you learned something new today. I tried my best to really break down the movement tips and the aim tips to help you guys become a better player. Now, obviously, you could go a little bit more in depth and advanced, but I got to keep it simple at the same time so you guys can truly understand when to use these things and do these things. Because at the end of the day, there's always a right time for everything, and there's a best time for everything. And that's why you see some of the best players in the world utilize certain movements at certain times, and obviously why their aim is so good. So if this video helps you out and it feels like you really learned something, make sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel so we can post more content like this. And as always, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Comment down below whatever you want, especially if you actually enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.